Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to Comics Covered, our weekly show where Matt and I, the co-founders of CoverPrice.com, talk about all the fun stuff that happened this week and potentially having a guest. Actually, here he is. Why don't we just throw him right into the mix real quick?
I don't get to say hello at all. You just skip right over it.
Well, everybody knows who you are.
I pass it completely.
I'm sorry, Matt. Please continue. Who are you?
No, I don't even want to anymore. Just bring in Brian.
It's because every single time we say we start, you always are like,
nope, I don't even want to do it now.
And now he's mad. Setting the precedent to this.
That's right.
Matt, how you doing? Happy Friday.
No, it's too late. We're bringing in Brian.
All right,
Brian, what's up?
What's going on, gents?
How's it
How you
going?
guys doing? Good to see
you. Brian, you're definitely the more polished one of the three of us here, as you actually have a show that is nicely put together, where this one is literally just bootstrapped. And
you guys can say that all you want, but you probably have one of the best new shows on YouTube, the YouTube Comics arena. So you guys will get better at it. Don't
say more.
Yeah, you can keep talking. That's
more. Yeah. So yeah, you guys are gonna figure it out. You guys did a pretty good job so far.
The intention was to just start doing it, and then we'll actually improve our rooms and equipment. Like I want to go full on gamer in here. No, just kidding.
Yeah,
full on Twitch.
Yeah.
Get all the lights and stuff, and rebuild our sets, and we're trying to get better microphones.
Yeah, like my camera and my mic sucks. We even got a review on that, like on our YouTube channel. Like one of the comments in one of these videos was like, "It's great. Couldn't get past the first 5 minutes. Guys just doing this show from their basement."
This is not my basement. This is my office.
Yeah, it was like, jokes on you. We don't have basements in LA.
Yeah. That's the one thing that Red Hood always talks about. He always gives me shit because when I first started doing shows with him, I told him, I go, dude, you got to get a real mic. You just got to get a real mic.
Yeah, no, we do.
So
I mean, I had one from our Tales from the Flip Side days, and now it just doesn't sound good at all. I don't know if it's the technology or whatever, but yeah, it's no good.
You can go get a really nice mic for like $250 that is like you could use for recording sound quality, high sound quality, Shure mics. Sure. And they have USB-C and XLR inputs, so you can use them anywhere for anything.
Brian, I was gonna say, I'm looking around. We actually did some of those Wham stands to like take around with us, and it was actually great because when we were at New York Comic Con, other people had Wham stands, so we were able to put our little logo on theirs, and it was like we need to make this a universal thing. It worked so well.
And Ryan, tell people who don't know you who you are. I think everybody does know you, it sounds like, but
McClay making the rounds. Yeah,
I run a channel called Beyond Wednesdays, and we talk about nostalgia and collectibles and comics and comedy, and we just have a good time over there. But yeah, it's pretty heavy in the collectibles world, and talking about the good old days, the 80s, the 90s, that time period, and fun stuff that makes us get happy, get tingling when that nostalgia hit happens, right? I call it the most dangerous drug there is. Because it will make you spend money at the drop of it. You see a GI Joe from across the room, you're like, I'll buy that. I'll buy that. Garbage Pail Kids, anything, I'll buy that.
Dude, every time we do research or we learn something new, you're walking through a con and you're like, oh, that's the cover that launched this. Hey, that's the start of the Bronze Age. Hey, and you're like, I walk into a comic shop, and after like doing new releases, I think everything's like valuable because I just saw it, So it's like, oh, I have to get that. I have to get that. It's like, it's a nothing comic.
For me, I just need to dig. Like I just need to get into a long box and dig. Like I don't even care about the walls. I just need to get into a box and just get my
Matt, it's fascinating watching that dig. People like will form a half moon circle around him and cheer him on, but he's
that would be very uncomfortable. I would not like that at all.
He's so in the zone he doesn't even see it. People give him high five.
It's fun. It's like therapeutic just to be in that space. It's it's the treasure hunt of it all, which is my favorite part. literally that's my favorite part of collecting is the treasure hunting. It's not even about having it, it's about finding it, right? And it's just, I can't tell you the excitement of like my shop saying, hey, we got a new collection and we're putting it out into the dollar bin. I can't get to the shop fast enough, you know. And then you get itchy, and then walking up to a bin that no one's been into, it's literally the best feeling in the world. It's euphoric.
You guys talked about that last Friday specifically about the treasure hunt, and that's exactly what it is. There's something about you know, finding that diamond in the rough, and you know, there could be sitting there. You never know what's going to be there, and all of us have one of those tales where the diamond was in the rough and it was glorious. So,
I mean, I had a shop back in the day. We should probably get into the show, but I had a shop back in the day that they would get new collections. They would go through it and pick out the obvious keys, like New Minton's 98 or something glaring, obviously, and then they would throw everything into the dollar bin. And it was amazing. Like, I mean, some of my best pulls were from the. I mean, heck, I found a first Swamp Thing in that. In House of Secrets '92. It's just sitting in the dollar bin. Yeah. So I mean, you just never know. You never know when you're digging through. I found a first appearance of the Tick for $1. Like, it was just.
One thing Matt and I were talking to the team about more content types that we could do on the site, more articles, whatever. And one of them was like, what was it, Matt? Mystery long box or like mystery finds or?
We had some title for it. It was like something.
The common books that you find in a like that you can find in dollar bins still.
Well, no, it was going to be more about things. Imagine, like, you know, things that society doesn't know about, like an alien show or hidden secrets of the world kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But it's like that for comics. Long Box Mysteries was the name of it, so that's what we're going to work on. And one thing we're going to get, like, there's things that the general population doesn't know of books that exist that would blow their mind if they knew that they actually existed.
And the other one was like people sharing their story of their finds, because everyone, like you said, everyone has one, right? And it's I always say this one, but my cousin, his wife's father passed away, went through his garage. He was a bit of a hoarder, had a box covered in ash, covered in soot from the car. Captain America #1, Wonder Woman #1. Green Lantern #1, and he sold all of it. It was all like super old and whatever.
I told John, I was like, make an offer.
I'm like, I can't. It's my cousin.
You make a fair offer.
I can't afford a fair offer.
Yeah, I know. That
but it was $170,000 he got from like Heritage because of it.
Just good for him.
From finding
good for him.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was pretty sweet. I do get hit up a lot, like around here, that people just, can you just flip through my collection? Just let me know what I got.
Yeah, I used to get that at work all the time back when I used to work in the corporate world. Hey, I got a bunch of comics that my buddy gave me. Can you tell me if they're worth anything?
What did you do back in the corporate world? What was your previous life?
I worked space and defense for 15 years. I ran an engineering test lab that recreates launch and, the vacuum of space and heat and extreme cold, shit like that.
How do you create the vacuum of space?
Big vacuum.
The vacuums.
that you can walk into.
What?
So, yeah.
Whoa, that's insane. That's crazy.
It's nuts, bro.
Everyone does that job, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be original.
It was a fun job. I loved it. I absolutely loved it until right as the pandemic hit, it turned into something I didn't love anymore. And it got really corporate and people telling you how to do your job that had no idea what your job even was. And I was like, nope, I'm done with this. I'm going to go find something else.
The greatest thing about Cover Price, both Matt and I were in jobs just like that. Like, I mean, it's hard starting a business, but like when you actually have that power and the respect to do it, and it's just you're doing it, and it's hard, but like I would give up money, which I did, for power to make change, to do things without having an overlord telling me what to do.
Yes.
You know?
I don't know. I liked where I was for a moment in time. It was there was.
Oh, you were in. He was in like content, so like in movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was fun making movies for a good 15-20 years there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we should talk about this.
Anywho.
What is that, Matt?
We are giving away, what is this? I have it in front of me. Transformers number 7 is the John Boy Myers Fan Expo set. Yeah, they're gorgeous. And I kind of feel like, I think what I like about these is like any cover where he has the Megatron arm on, I think those will be long-term good players just because it's so cool, you know, and they'll never do it again after this.
That's crazy.
It's just such it's so cool. Like that was like the highlight of when we started reading Transformers, that they did that. It was fun.
I agree. Yep.
Yeah.
100% agree.
So we're gonna give that away.
Yeah, stay tuned towards the end and you'll have a chance to win.
All right.
Yeah, what are we talking about today?
Yeah, so let's just jump into our normal flow of things. So Brian, just what we generally do, we kind of go through kind of the stuff we covered throughout the week, and if there's any highlights, except for some of the bigger events of the week, we'll just shy away from. But hey, it happened. We're all here. We're still alive. So.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll try not to get too political.
Comics brings us together, except when we all disagree on how we collect and what we buy and how we make those purchases.
There you go. It brings everybody joy.
Yeah.
I think comics is probably better than it's been in a long time right now. I think.
What's that?
I think comics is probably one of the most exciting things in our world right now with what's going on, content-wise. Yeah,
totally. It's fun because people are reading comics. They're buying stuff for just the covers. Like, exclusives have never been hotter. Variants have never been hotter and I think from my experience when we're talking to people aren't buying them for investments. Like most of the people are not buying them for investment. They're buying them just because they want them, which is an interesting change from 10 years ago. You wouldn't have bought a cover if you didn't think there was any potential in it,
Look at the you were just talking about it before, the Absolute Universe. Like there are a ton of print run and people it's still making all the lists, all of our top 10s and stuff, because it's just such a good, cool story.
I mean, just look at the top 10 here. I mean, clearly Absolute, the Absolute line.
Sorry, Matt, can you do the Control Plus thing to blow your screen?
No, I don't want to.
You got to do it, Matt.
Oh, I did it on the wrong thing. I did it on our StreamYard. Hold on.
Now we're all like blown up.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Is that to your like? Oh, too much.
That is to my liking. Thank you.
All right. So we have the Absolute Batman stuff. What's interesting about the Absolute Batman stuff, and just like I always like to analyze what's going in our top 10 and runners up from not covering every single book on it, because we've done that ad nauseum this week. But what's interesting about the Absolute stuff is that it's what we just talked about. It doesn't seem like people are investing in it. Everyone just wants to read it. And that's why the values have been going up. And I mean, there's certain covers that people are picking up. But again, like the Akira cover, like people are just buying it because they want it. That's why the price went crazy. It's not because, people are making this big investment book out of it. With that said, this will be a series that will go down in value just because when it ends, it'll come back down. But some of those covers, like I think that Akira cover, will probably hold longer than we think. Have you guys read any of the Absolute stuff?
Oh, I'm in it big time.
Yeah.
I love it. I love all of it so far. The Wonder Woman stuff was good. The Superman stuff was good. The Batman was the best.
I heard someone told me that the Wonder Woman was their favorite. Like they're raving about it.
The Batman, I think, was kind of cooler. I mean, Wonder Woman. It's just so neat that they're flipping the script. Like such core parts of their characters flipped. Like, Batman's no longer a billionaire. Superman's family. I don't know if you guys got into the Absolute Superman stuff, but like Superman's family wasn't on the science part. They were just workers on the planet. Like there's it's just so fun to reimagine these really tried and tested characters and kind of give them new life.
How was Superman?
Amazing.
Good.
Yeah. Here's what I think is so great about these first 3 issues. And I talked about this on whatever shows it was. It was the fact that not only is the story good, the art is great, the art direction, the how dynamic the panels are in every issue. There's these really cool dynamic, spreads and and writing out of the sounds, as the panel behind the art. It just beautiful stuff. The redesign on the characters, every single one of them, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, they hit it out the park. 10s.
Mm-hmm.
The design of the suit, how cool the suit is, how the suit is almost like a Iron Man type suit now, and it can move and protect him, and it's got like a Jarvis feel to it. I think that's great. I think the new Batman stuff, when they said that Batman could pull the cows out, how like they're really long, and he could pull them out and use them as knives, and it still leaves the little nubs like it's Frank Miller style. I was like, how that never been thought of?
Reinvent. Like I always say, we did this talk a long time ago about the ages, and we're in this point in time where the people making comics were the people who grew up with comics and had a history of comics. So they get to kind of like really reinvent and really think about it in a way that like hasn't been done before. It's amazing. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it too.
Well, it's interesting. More people were on the Batman train for our exclusives because we have 43 exclusives and only 26 for Wonder Woman. So
more people were what?
More people got on board with Batman in terms of wanting an exclusive for it. That's interesting.
Well, I mean,
your favorite's got to be Turtle Batman, right?
I think the best Batman is the was it the second print A cover, I believe, or it was the Ben Oliver right there. Yep, that one right there.
Yeah, that
one
really
is
nice.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The Dakota one's good. I love the trade. I love how the trade sits behind in front of the Batman symbol and how good it looks.
Kind of dig this a little bit.
I love the full bleed that they do. I love that.
Yeah, that is neat.
Diamond UK. Well, that's a tough one to get done. Jeez.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, we don't have to go too much into these, but the one thing I'm always disappointed with, like, these are all good Wonder Woman covers, but when you have a great Wonder Woman cover, they last forever. And I would say like none of these gave me that great Wonder Woman cover.
Really? I disagree. I think Minosian is a cover of the year, if not it's cover of the year stock, if not the cover of the year.
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing. I know Alex in our chat agrees with you.
I'll have to think about that one.
And they killed it with the 1 in 25. Like they picked for the first time like ever. We have a big publisher, one of the big two, picking the right ratio variant covers. You know what I mean?
Right. Which was the 1 in 25?
The 1 in 25 is the Panosian. The 1 in 50 is the DeCall.
My only problem with that one right there in the top left, the regular cover, is it looks like she's flying on a fly from hell.
Yeah.
Not a horse, not a skeleton horse. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does kind of look
like I thought she was riding like a fly creature. But when you see it, it's like a Pegasus, a skeleton of a Pegasus.
Anywho, so those were, I mean, clearly those were the trends. It's interesting to have reading, like you said, like people are, it's to have like the ultimate stuff hit so hard, and then you have the absolute stuff, the absolute stuff hitting so hard.
Look at the absolute Akira right there at number, what was that, 8? Like that's not even out yet, and it's already making the list.
Well, I mean, it's sold. They already sold it. It was pre-sold, so it was trending because it sold out, and people pre-sold.
I want to get into that with you guys when you guys come on the industry show. I want to pick your brains about the decision to do pre-release. So save that. Put a pin in that. Guys, when they come on the industry show, we're gonna get in deep about how cover price works with what they can give us.
I'm happy to do it.
Okay, that's interesting. Let's see where to jump into. Let's see, was there anything on our
I do want to talk about that. What do you guys think about the Zaf thing? I haven't got your guys' opinion on this.
It's interesting. So we covered it here. So clearly this is our day after Wednesday. The books that are trending. This puppeteer is just nuts.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And the whole point is, like we were saying, like Poison Ivy covers, like there's so many great Venom covers, you start to ignore, you start to tune them out, even though they're fantastic, right? Poison Ivy's got into that same thing. So many great artists are covering her, and there's so many great covers, but you start to tune it out a little bit. It's kind of like Alex Ross. Like Alex Ross for the longest time was just one of those artists delivering amazing work. But you stop paying attention to it for one reason or another. I don't know what that is, but like this cover just popped for me. That is
a beautiful.
This
cover.
was an interesting discussion too. Is like what this qualification, you had to buy 100 copies of 5 different issues as a retailer to get one of these.
500.
Yeah, well, you had to order 100 copies of issues 36 to 40 to get one of these. So crazy. It's not quite a 1 in 500, even though I guess technically it kind of is, but it isn't really. But the requirement for it is crazy. I thought that was a very bold initiative on that. Anyways, getting into the Zaf stuff. So, I mean, I actually embedded this into the article. This was the last article. Red Hood did this.
Yeah.
Where he showed this video. I don't know if I can blow it up or not. Let's see. Can I blow it up? I guess not. Can I not?
I think it's you can see it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, you got to get a special Chrome extension.
Oh. Well, anyways, what he did was he found the original image and then overlaid it with the art. So, like in this case, the question is, like a lot of people have thought it was AI, but this is clearly taking existing work and overlaying elements to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yep.
And if you look at this, there are some strong AI elements to it. It's hard to prove, right? And maybe it's not. I mean, that's the thing. It's kind of like, but based off of this,
to me, the one you were just showing, this one is, you're right. It looks the most like it could be AI. Now, dude, I caught so much heat because of this, because of this whole Zaf thing. Yeah. I really went in hard on this because in my mind, it was exciting to see this new cover artist come out of freaking nowhere on this very small imprint book that has, very small print run, and put out 3 at the time, now 4 covers that if that was his first 4 covers and he was a traditional artist, we would be talking about this guy as being like up there with, new cover artist of the year.
Yeah, right.
So I really, really hoped it was. I was excited for it if that would have been the case.
Well, there was so much buzz around it that it reached highs of what we said, $200. And then it's now $65.
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, which is still good value. I mean, it's still pretty darn good value. I mean, because there's still desirability.
I'll be right back, you guys. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
So then it is interesting to the ongoing discussions of
we didn't really set it up. We didn't really set it up. I think what was going on. Do you want to?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, set it up.
No, for you. Go ahead.
Oh, for me to set up. Oh, so Tales from Desire, if you recall, we'll go into it. I'll do a better job of setting this up. This issue, Tales of the Bazaar number 8, was kind of just one of these covers that everyone noticed when it came out. It was impossible to find, and then copies started hitting the aftermarket and quickly trended up. There was $50, $80, $100, ultimately hitting, I think, $250 or $200. Ultimately hitting a high of 200. And it was kind of fascinating because then people went back to, hey, let's look at these other covers. And they went back to this issue, which was the issue before. I'm like, hey, this is also a gorgeous cover. Who is this Zaf guy or woman who, we don't know anything about it. And then that led into everyone, you could kind of see where it kind of goes from a more cartoony style to this more polished style, this more realistic. And then there was high anticipation behind this one which bumped up orders, and then began this discussion around Zaf and who Zaf is, and it was revealed, as we were talking our day after Wednesday, that Dren Productions found the artist on Fiverr. I don't know if they found the artwork on Fiverr or they found the artist on Fiverr. And then they commissioned that artist to do, I think they took one of the covers and used that as a cover. I don't know exactly how that worked. But the line was that they found the artist on Fiverr and then commissioned them to do more work, which is what we have here. But the question is, no one knows who Zaf is. And Zaf is not on social media. Zaf has not discussed. No person has claimed this position. And now we see signs of like this clearly being a previously used image that was, overlaid with just some light aesthetic.
Yeah.
It was a hit. So the overall discussion around it is like, it's a gorgeous cover, but was this AI or is this just stolen art? Who is this artist? What was their process? Because we talked to what's his name, who was at San Diego Comic-Con and had his Elon Musk versus Zuck. Television. Television. But Television has explained his process of using AI as a tool to, like, as almost like a finishing element, like a digital finish to the stage that he sets up and hand draws and builds out all the elements and then adds an AI level layer to it. So it's like it's hand directed. There's a lot of debate in even that use, right? But the question here in this case, is it just straight stolen art?
I'll say this from my perspective. Like, I've used Fiverr before, and you can find a lot of amazing artists, and you don't really know how they're making stuff, but one part of art is composition, right? Like, there's one talent in just creating the art from nothing. And the second part is composing that in a way that is actually meaningful and intriguing, this positioning and stuff, right? So like, for me, it's like AI is definitely going to be part of our future, and it's going to be something that we're going to have to kind of like, if it creates stuff that's emotive and amazing, cool. I don't want it to take jobs away from artists. I don't want to do anything like that. But there's something about like being able to prompt an AI to build something in a way that's not stealing, but just like prompting it to compose something that you don't have the skill to make is still kind of a skill to some extent. But
so what were your thoughts
about it?
What's that?
As long as you're open about it, you know what I mean? If you're open about it, like you guys are talking about, I'm all for it. I think that even the best artists, yeah, exactly that. Even the best traditional artists steal. Greg Land is known for it, stealing Adam Hughes layouts and stuff, and Matina has been called out on it before, and now, like you said, with such a big part of new generation of artists being digital artists, and art isn't just pencil and paper. There's functional art, there's non-functional art, there's so many different places of art. So I just think it's important, though, that because comics is a medium that is built upon the work of a traditional artist, pen and ink or a pencil and paper artist, I just hope it can stay a large part of it moving forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there's still an element it did affect the value of this issue. So the fact when it came out that this was, stolen work, that was used to it, it did downgrade the value of it. But at the same time, I wouldn't say $85 is a bad price for even this now, because people still want the cover.
Even the controversy around that draws attention to it, which makes people buy it because they just think it might be. I mean, that's why all the political stuff sells. That's why all the other stuff sells. Like it's attention to something that's like, ooh, this is bad, or an error or something. I'm going to get it.
Yes, recalled books. Yep, you got it.
I mean, we're not going to solve it today, but it was interesting.
We are solving it today, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an ongoing discussion forever, and in the next 5 years, it's going to be hard to distinguish with what's real and what's not.
What do you think, Matt? Is it a good thing or bad thing from your perspective?
If you use AI in terms of like you said, it's like a tool of going from hand-drawn to using computers to digitally color, right? Like that, if you use it as a tool, I don't see it as a bad thing. But if you let it do all the work for you, right? Like, it's literally stealing from other people's works, and that's terrible. Right now, there's not enough regulations on it to police that. So it's kind of like, but the fans do react to it. I don't know. Would this book have been better if there weren't so many questionable aspects of it? Would it be going for $100 and not $50 right now?
Well, this also kind of goes into that other conversation of like when there's a controversial artist, everyone bans that person, but they forget that there's an entire creative team, a editor, a writer that make this comic book, and like to ban it just because of a bad cover or a controversial part of the team kind of negates like all the creative effort and work that went into it. If you hate somebody for that thing, but you can still be really good at something and a bad person someplace else. You know what I mean?
What's interesting about this is that there's like a painted background, right? A painted background, but a more realistic girl, realistic car. And then there's all these little details, like there's, bracelets. AI has trouble doing details there's like little bloodstains and scratches, and even how she like wears the clothing, there's something to it that doesn't reek of AI at the same time. I think the Jeep might, but there's something, I don't know. I wish the artist would come forward and be like, no, this is legit. Like Wheeljack has done. Wheeljack has proven that he's not an AI. He doesn't use AI in his work. He just has a very polished digital touch to his work after he's done drawing it out.
Yep.
Susan Mike is a digital artist 100%. She does not use pen to paper at all.
But she can, which she's working on. Yeah. Which is interesting. But here's the thing about it. Yeah. I don't think that this book should be banned. I think that the way it's playing out is fine. It's still something that we're talking about. It's still something that is wanted. It's beautiful art. It's rare, so it's still kind of got that cool effect to it. It's just not as cool if it would have been a traditional artist, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's probably why it went from a $200 to $100 book or whatever. And I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. It's still rare and people want it. There's no doubt about it.
There's times, if you follow Mr. Longshort on Instagram, which I do as well, he's shown AI images that just are like, if this was a cover, it would be the hottest cover ever. Like, but it's 100% AI art, and you're like, this is absolutely stunning.
That does say one thing about AI though. Like they are able to, for example, look at the girl's face, right? Like they are able to capture what is stereotypically attractive so perfectly. It takes artists years to get that symmetry, to get that like little up nose turn and that like color or whatever. Like the thing that you would just look at and go, wow, that's an attractive girl, or oh, that's a cool scene. It does it so easily. And eventually we're going to be saturated with like perfection in terms of all of our covers, that maybe the avant-garde or the kind of like sketchy stuff is going to actually start popping because it's going to be a sea of AI. The original stuff will stand out even more. But I will say one thing, Matt, if you scroll to the top of this, the one thing that kills it is the what company is Dren what is it, Dren Production? Is there logo AI? Because that thing looks horrible.
It's a D and a P. And let's be nice. They probably thought about this. Who knows?
I do apologize. You're actually right. You're right. It takes we know about.
Probably worked on that for like a year, and they're like, "Oh man, the cover price guy says he hates it."
No, but it's all shaded and it looks like a 1990s kind of.
Hey, Dren, you guys, you keep doing your thing. Although we would like a little more details about this cover. We'd
like to see. Yeah, that's true.
They're here. They're here. They're here. I mean, who knows? It could be Dinesh having another company. You know.
We'll make a better logo.
Anyways,
it's a fiber logo. Sorry, that's awesome. Alex said it's a fiber logo.
That John Jang is unreal.
So I would love to see a John Jang cover that doesn't have that wheelie ripple effect.
Yeah,
like I would love to see him just do a straight cover because the dude is uber talented. Yeah. And like this is a great cover. It's not my aesthetic that I would collect, you know. I'm itching to see him do like a traditional cover because I want to see what that looks like.
It makes me feel like my glasses prescription's not working.
or you put on 3D glasses and it would like jump out, you know, you could touch it.
That Venom design is such a great character design though. Those Agent Venom or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no detail, like there's no question. I would love to like hear his process on how he does it because there's clearly like a hand-drawn element and then a heavy digital detail a layer that he puts on, which I'm sure it's like it's controlled and manipulated, not AI or anything.
I agree, Brian. Like Agent Venom, his look was another example of like a character redesign that was modern, that was edgy, that was like, oh yeah, it's a symbiote. It can shape whatever you want. Like this military kind of look, you know, with the high collar protecting, like. Yeah, really, really well done.
There's a rumor that they're going to do Agent Venom, and someone's comment was like, "Great, another character wasted." You know? Well, some of the books to watch. So I wanted to have a discussion with you. Actually, Brian, it's great that you're here. So like, I wanted to have it. I had a discussion. We added this book for a reason. So Dynamite, I said Dynamite is the king of licensed comics right now. They're crushing it in terms of licensed comics, and they're giving us amazing covers for these licensed properties. The one problem that Dynamite has is that there's 4, 5, 6 versions of these one cover, right? And so, from a collector standpoint, it's exhausting, right? Because it's like it's hard to buy into them as a hardcore collector. But my thing with this is that you look at this cover. This is like, to me, this as a DuckTales fan, I have to have this cover. Mm-hmm. And the fact that if this was the only cover, this 1 in 50 was this would be $150 book out of the gate. You know, easy. Mm-hmm. It's $30 right now. So the fact that you have all these covers, and I want this cover, just again, we were talking about how you just want a cover, it does make it more accessible because people are now split. You know, now you want the foil. There's a virgin foil, a trade dress foil. There is an element to this style that if there's something that you love, you're never going to have to pay through the nose for it, which is nice. But how do you feel about, like, and this is the overall discussion we had last week of even store or convention exclusives having multiple versions of one cover. I love one cover, right? But that's not the world we live in today.
I think the multiple versions is very played out. I'm not going to put words in Nikki's mouth, but I think one of the reasons that when I've asked him about this, we've talked to him on shows about this, and I asked him why he does all the weird ratios, the 1 in 15s, the 1 in 7s, that type of stuff. And he said that he wanted to give store owners an easier way to get the qualifiers and to get extra qualifiers so they could, do a little extra. They kind of, and it helped out the store owners at the time. But I also think that he is also such a good friend with a lot of artists and creators, and I think that he loves to be able to give work to his friends at the same time. That could be a big part of it. But
I mean, because just right here, the print run, it goes from, if you had a 1 in 75, your print run for this book these have pretty high print runs. but his overall profit sharing is probably much greater with 6 covers than 1.
Yes.
Is that the intention, right? They make more money.
Exactly. And he wants to help out the stores. Now, the problem with this is, let's be honest, is that sometimes, there's a diamond dump and it's got a ton of dynamite covers on there that might not have sold well because there's so many of them. Sure. But man, I'll tell you what, even with being so many of them, they do a good job of picking really good cover artists.
Well, that's the thing. And it's not just you. When you look at a Marvel DC book, there's clearly certain covers that stand out amongst the rest.
Oh.
I mean, you look at the recent Boom covers. There's always, when there's like these series that aren't doing very well, they have low orders, right? But like Profane, like no one's reading, like people are talking about Profane, but that Profane number 4, everybody wanted that Suspiria cover, and you can't find it, right? And then you had like the Labyrinth book that came out with the Florentino cover that we talked about on our Shaker show last night. One of the most gorgeous covers I've seen this year. It's probably one of my favorite covers of the year. I don't have one, but I would love one. But it's already a $150 book. It's hard to find. What I guess I'm trying to say there. It's hard to find an amazing cover from some of the more traditional publishers where they're producing like 30, amazing covers.
Well, I think we've gotten to an age where like people collect for different reasons, and one of them is that a comic is an art piece. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that's what variants really play to. It's definitely supports the retailers and the publishers, because it's another, you make one, sell many. It's a great axiom of like making a lot of money because you don't have to do all the creative work aside from this one cover change. But from a collector standpoint, we collect for fine art, we collect for the stories, and we collect for like the rarity of stuff and stuff that's just cool, right? So it's like, but like a lot of people in the comments, like Karen, for example, just said like, I can't be a completionist. It must drive all of the comic collectors out there crazy,
especially the obsessive compulsive ones.
Which we all are. You're a collector, of course. You're going to be like, you have to want to complete it. So I think that's where a lot of the animosity for like variant overload comes from. It's because we can't afford to do the hobby that we want to do.
Right.
I think it would be cool if they decided to kind of maybe do that one book out of each issue, one cover, that makes it super collectible. Like if they, like you said, Matt, they only did this as a 1 in 50 with the trade and everything.
Yeah.
And then did all their regular, where they do 4 different covers. But for this one, Carlo, who is it? Carlo
Lara, which I haven't been exposed to, but now hey, you're on the radar now, Carlo.
If there was just one cover of this and it was the 1 in 50, they would make it more collectible. And like if they decided to do like, okay,
do the coins metal, like do the coins foil,
Yeah.
That's cool.
And make it super special, and like make it be the one thing that all DuckTales collectors, this pose and him jumping in the money, that is the book that should be the collectible one.
And I think that's what I was saying here. So I was like, for basically the points that we talked about, there's 4 versions of this cover, but it's not always about the aftermarket potential. The good news is that this is an accessible cover that you can buy for $30. The nice thing about it, at $30, the long-term potential of this being a long-term sleeper, like this is going to be hard to find in 10 years. And this is one of those books that you kind of like, yes, there's a lot of them, but there's potential because this cover is so, it captures that iconic DuckTales moment where you look at the rest, there's arguments to be like these are fantastic covers, but this captures the heart and soul of what DuckTales, like there's certain things, there's opportunities. There's opportunities, even though it's one of many covers, there's opportunities there for the right one. And I think that's what we're just trying to say is that if you love it, keep it, hold it, stick it in your box, and that's not a threat. But save it for the future. And I think that was just an exploration. It was something I wanted to discuss because it's something that people see more than 2 covers and they're like, I'm out. I'm not going to even touch this book.
Well, speaking about Dynamite real quick, I don't know if you guys heard, but they just added Mark Spears to their roster of cover artists.
I saw that announcement on Longshort's show last night. Yeah.
That's awesome.
No, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean that's and my first step was like my first question was, well, how many covers are there going to be of that one? Yeah. But I will say this, like, not only Dynamite has the best cabal of artists, a lot of people have cut their teeth. A lot of young artists have cut their teeth on doing Dynamite covers. Almost every big artist has done some Dynamite cover, and they're very expensive. So it is interesting to, like, pay attention to those opportunities, despite the overwhelming nature of there being 26 variants, which, again, you looked at Absolute Batman, there were 43. So this is still less than Absolute Batman.
Amen.
Or any Stray Dogs or any, whatever.
But it's funny when John shows, like, you can go to the overall series, and granted there's only 3 issues, but 3 issues, and then you click on variants and it's like 57 variants or 57 covers. And that's why we are in this era of exclusives. We are definitely in a heavy variant world. This is, I would assume, making Dynamite a lot of money. It's making the writers a lot of money. Is hopefully making them all. I mean, and that when you stop to think about it, it's like, oh, I'm not going to make an extra $20 on this book because you didn't make it one. These are keeping these people alive, right? These are giving these companies flourishing. They're getting these books into. Hey, we got Aaron. Let's bring him.
What's up? Friday, so I figured I'd join.
Yeah, join. But you look, there's some. I mean, there's also look how great that cover is too. Jeez Louise,
that is a cool cover.
I don't know. I just challenge people to stop and think about the economics of comics itself, and that sometimes it's not always about this immediate value. It's, again, sometimes it's like, buy the cover you like, and luckily these are priced affordably. Again, a lot of people don't have even $30 to go spend on this one variant, and you don't have to. But for me, I was like, this is awesome. I need this.
And real quick, just want to, Aaron, say who you are and tell everybody where they can find you.
My name is Aaron, also known as Yeezy. You can find me on Instagram, eBay, Brian's channel, Beyond Wednesdays, Nearing Nirvana, House of Sign.
Bro, rock, and you'll find Aaron.
I don't think we've been on a show together though. I've heard of you, but I haven't. I think I was on vacation or something, and you did one of the shows, or I think.
Well, there was a week where I joined Matt, and then the following week, I think I joined you.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember you at all.
I see so many people.
I guess I'm forgettable.
It's all coming back to me.
This Vendetta book is nuts.
Yeah. It's cool. It's like
we covered this on our Shaker show last night too. The original book, which is absolutely crazy. I mean, here's Cocaine Comics #4.
Bro, I gotta get one of those, dude. I gotta get one of those.
Yeah, this cover is crazy. I think we could show it, but so a little quick story is George DiCaprio, which is Leonardo DiCaprio's dad, wrote this book.
Oh wow! I didn't know that.
So that's a little backstory. He did all the Cocaine comics.
1982.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a little quick backstory.
Right.
Yeah, 82. So in the late 70s, early 80s, George DiCaprio. Here's the cover that is. Oh, it's an adult cover. I can't blow it up. But yeah, it's a devil snorting cocaine while topless angel.
Devil too.
What were the DiCaprios into?
So apparently
George,
all the cocaine.
So a little backstory behind George DiCaprio. He was in the indie comic scene back when it was just Marvel and DC fighting it out. It was the late 70s. Out here in the West Coast, a lot of young comic creators were just doing their own thing. and on the East Coast too, of course. People were just creating comics in their garage and printing them and distributing them and whatever. Some had actual printer presses and would print these books. George DiCaprio's job, he was the West Coast representative for all independent comics to get them around the country, to get them to the East Coast, and then to be the one to receive the ones from the East Coast and distribute them out here. So, like, he was one of those primary sources of the chain of command in getting comics, independent comics, spread out across the country. Like, without him, you wouldn't have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You wouldn't have The Tick. You wouldn't have Image Comics, Spawn, and all that. Like, he was a really important part of the fundamentals and the business side of comic book collecting. So it's like, you gotta, and then he had a famous son, and then he became a producer. He didn't have to grind away and sell comics anymore.
Can you kill that Pfizer ad on the thing for me, please?
Yeah, well, it won't let me.
I will say this. Maybe refresh the page. We are talking. We don't want to kill people with ads. That's the last thing we want to do on the site. And this company we're working with throwing stuff up there, and it drives me insane because it's like, anyway. So I apologize for that. We're not trying to overdo it.
Yeah. So, anyways, the book I was going to show was on our Shaker show. There's a lot of stuff. There's that Florentino.
Real quick, how come Leonardo DiCaprio hasn't been in a comic book movie then? You know what I mean? With this huge,
because he's a big actor. There was
actors in comic movies.
Well, I mean, it was the path. Comic book movies weren't popular until well after he was like a top level star. He
was supposed to be Anakin.
Yeah, right. He was also Dirk Diggler.
Oh wow! Well, there was also talks of Akira, with his involvement in that, or something like that.
Here's that original Vendetta cover right there. So this is the new one. So it says 30 years later, first issue in 30 years. This is issue 5. This is issue 1, and this is from 1993. So
tough book.
Well, what I love about 90s comics is that people are just like, I'm gonna make my own, and just like it was very that 70s independent way of creating comics. Like, can't draw, not a problem, That
was kind of like Ninja Turtles though, and all those other great independent ones. They were just like, here's a great story.
Well, Ninja Turtle was a parody book on Frank Miller's Daredevil. Like, they were just making fun of Frank Miller and his Daredevil run, and
that's why it's the foot instead of the hand, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was just they were just making fun of it, and then it became its own thing. Like, oh yeah, someone's actually paying attention to our ads. The shivers. I mean, this is really cool. There's actually a cover to kind of watch out for on this is the Adam Hughes cover. Yeah. Which is really, wait, where is it? Oh, it's right here. I think this is going to be a sneaky. Like, it may not be a $50 book, but down the road, again, 10 years, 15 years later, it would be a nice.
That's a beautiful cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As always with Adam Hughes.
And look, Santa's sleeping.
A lot of festive garlands coming out of him.
It's a kid's POV cover, right?
Jeez, yeah. I didn't even catch the gruesomeness of that. That's crazy.
Well, it is fun. They are doing some crazy things with those.
I love that Jay Stevens is doing all the variants too.
Right. That's all crossing over. I mean, the dwellings. I do love dwellings. It's fun to see that dwellings.
That's a great cover right there.
Right.
Yeah, that's super cool. There's also one other thing that we've been kind of talking about is that Selling Superman movie, the documentary. I don't know if you guys seen it yet, but it's that whole story about Fantast and like how he got that collection and his father.
Yeah, actually.
I know they asked us to promote it a little bit on their.
I'm on the second episode. I was like watching it now. It's very well done. It's actually a lot of fun to watch. It's interesting.
Well, it's fascinating that whole concept, I think, is like that happens. You know, people. We could be that people who have kids who are someday our collections are going to be worth millions.
No, not mine. They're gonna be like, my dad was weird. It was like really weird stuff. Yeah. No. I don't have any power hour, so that I'm safe with that.
Yeah. You just find your collection and be like, what was he into?
But yeah, if you guys haven't watched it, it is fascinating about how they found this collection of just like, you know, every key book you could imagine was in this, and not just one, but like stacks of all these books. Like they're saying in the show, they're like, there's $1,000 books just in a stack on top of each other in some closet, you know.
Not to mention the Superman #1. I mean, it's just
Actually, it has an Action Comics and Amazing Fantasy 15. I mean, so
it's basically like every Grail you can imagine.
I mean, yeah, I think they pretty much had and like a lot of the best versions of those books. It's kind of like the Promise Collection a little bit, but the Promise Collection was a little more niche. Like he was definitely into the war, like a lot of war and I don't know how much pre-code horror he had, but it was a lot of the war, but like a lot of war books that he was really into. So it's interesting. I mean, I recommend it. Recommend watching it.
It is well done. Like the production value is really
it's fun. Yeah, it's fun. What else we got? Oh yeah, there's they're coming. Did you see this with Star Wars? They have a new trilogy coming.
Yeah. Before you do, Matt, we're kind of at that time, but let me.
We probably should cut it. I told my wife I'd get off on time.
No, but I hate being that guy. I'm always the timekeeper.
No, it's good. It's good. I think we discussed a lot in this episode. There was so much. We could have spent an entire episode on some of these things, and I know we kind of have to blaze through some of it.
Brian, your insight was great, and Aaron, your appearance was great.
That's right.
Cameo, right?
And look, we still have these we still have these Wheeljacks popping up on the list. We got both of them now.
If you want to be entered to win, there's only about 51 people, so it's a pretty good odds. Enter #Transformers into the chat, into the comments here, and you will be entered, and we'll do a little drawing in a little bit for that comic.
Well, we'll pretty much do it right, like we'll say in 3 minutes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I told her like 6:35, I'm off.
Liar.
They're like, you're ruining our Fridays, and I'm like, I'm working.
You're having the best Fridays.
It's like I can ruin your Thursdays too.
That's right. And then you ask like why I'm not on more stuff. It's like I'm like usually driving a car, picking up a kid as you're asking me to jump on.
Yeah, if we're ever late, it's because of Matt, guys.
Yeah. It's like driving, but it's like shuttling kids back and forth. But my daughter just started driving today for the first time. So like her first sample lesson with my wife. So
no way. That's fun.
Yeah. It's terrifying. It's probably the most terrified I've ever been as a parent. Like
seeing your kid drive.
Well, I mean, and if you've ever driven in LA, drivers aren't nice out here.
Dude,
we're very aggressive. You have to be a very aggressive driver. It's all defensive. You got to play a big defense and offense.
I was surprised about the highway driving, where everyone's like going 90 miles per hour. No matter how many cars there are.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing. Sorry, go for it, John.
I was saying LA's all about the the best defense is a good offense. That's LA. Yeah. Like the more offensive you go, it's like then people know what you're doing. You project your intention, and they're like, oh, they're gonna cut me off. Okay.
The biggest thing, I don't know if it's just LA, but the biggest thing out here is no one wants you to get in front of them. So if you need to get over into the next lane, even if there's no one on the road, they'll speed up or so that they and if you get in front of them, they'll honk. Like even though there's maybe 2 car lanes, like it's just there's ownership of the space in front of them, and that's a very LA thing, and it's rampant. And I don't know if that's only LA.
It's not too bad in Houston, but it does happen.
Yeah. What about you, Brian? Where are you at? Are you in LA?
I'm in Phoenix. Everybody wants to fight.
That's just because it's hot everywhere.
That's right. You're stepping on scorpions all the time, you know?
Yeah. I am hot.
Whatever it is, man.
Poisonous insects everywhere.
Yeah. I've never gotten in almost more fights in my life than driving in Phoenix than anywhere else, man. It's like everybody.
God was like making the world. He was like, no one will live here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think driving everywhere is pretty bad. The one cool thing about LA is it's kind of like a car show. You're on the 405 and you're like, oh, Lamborghini, oh, Porsche Cayenne, oh.
Yeah, Izzy says NYC driving is crazy. It's not only crazy, but it's NYC driving is not just crazy. It's the most impressive driving I've ever seen in my life. The fact that they could get up, like, I swear, like a quarter of an inch in front of a car, just like right on top of them and just squeeze through everyone, not touching a single car. It's the most impressive offensive driving I've ever seen ever. And it blows my mind. It is nerve-wracking because like you think you're like, oh, you were absolutely gonna hit someone. And he's like, yeah. Like one guy went across the lane, like it was bumper to bumper in 8 lanes, and he went horizontal across traffic to get to the other side, and it blew me away. Anyway.
It's impressive. Okay, guys, we only have 30 entries, and there's like 60 people watching now. Type in hashtag Transformers if you haven't, and you'll be entered. We're going to do this in a little bit.
Copy paste.
Yeah, only do it once. it won't count twice.
That's right.
So
it's better than our eBay Live auction, so we can say.
I will say this. Next week, if everything goes according to plan, we're going to be launching a really cool update to the site that's going to make searching for comics ridiculously easy, especially for if you're going through like dollar bins and stuff. So a little hint. I don't want to promise anything yet, but it's going to make adding stuff to your collection, looking at prices, like super, super smooth.
My internet's asleep right now.
So that's coming up. All right, should we do this drawing?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, I'm going to steal the screen.
There we go. Ooh, look at that spirit.
Oh, I love that book.
All right, run it, John, as I'm just flipping through.
All right, guys. 34 people. Hashtag Transformers. Should I spell that right? Transformers. Yeah. All right. Maybe last time, whenever it was like Bill Sienkiewicz, I was like, we were like, no one's going to be able to do that.
Bill S.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Winner. And if you win, well, we'll wait till we see the winner. And the winner is Alamo 57.
It's Alamo.
Yeah, there's extra A's for Alamo.
Oh, my bad. Alamo.
Never forget.
That's right.
Congratulations. Yeah,
Never forget Alamo 57.
Alamo 57. Reach out to me or Matt, John at Cover Price or Matt at coverprice.com, and give us your shipping address, and we will ship this out to you. Congratulations. That was a cool win. You got a set, and you got a Optimus with a Megatron's arm stuck on him.
It is a good set. I thought about keeping that one.
Boom.
I did not.
Let me show it off one more time just so we have it. Boom. So yeah, that is a cool set.
Oh, is it too late to put in hashtag Transformer?
Yeah, I'm gonna take
go
that.
for it. Go for it, E.
Let me just make a phone call real quick. I'm sure I can get a copy from some people I know.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining. If people watching, if you liked what you saw, like and subscribe. Be sure to watch these guys on their shows and follow them on their
Wednesdays.
Media.
Actually, I think this. Do you have a show going on right after this, Brian?
So we Stein has been working like crazy this week, so he's not going to have a hot 10 tonight. But I think we're going to go and just hang out and talk about cover of the year candidates.
Okay.
Try to put together a nice little definitive list, and you
gotta put that Florentino on there.
Oh yeah, bro. Oh yeah.
And that's Suspiria cover. Did you see the Suspiria? She got 8 comps and gave them out to gave them to her fans or sold them to her fans, or I don't know. I can't imagine it was for very much, but people were like hot on those.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's why if you can't find a cover, go to the creator, but you got to do it like the first week because they go fast.
Brian, do you want to put your link to your show in the comments here so people can jump over?
Yeah, let me go find it.
It's actually set to take people into it automatically.
Perfect.
Too.
Perfect.
Okay. So, yeah, stick around if you want to join that show.
Yeah. Join us over there. We'll probably start in about an hour and a half, I imagine. We go late over there, so we'll just be hanging out tonight. Come hang out with us and give us thoughts on the covers of the year's candidates.
Yeah, I'll pop in. I'll probably be watching.
Yeah, and Yeezy Yee, how about you? How you doing? Are you doing anything this weekend or your sign up?
I will be also on the. Are you doing it on Beyond Wednesdays or House of Stein?
I think we're gonna do it on House of Stein, or if not both, probably. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I usually jump on there Friday nights. My band happens to not be playing this Friday, so
you got the night off.
I remember now. What did you play though?
I play bass. I play bass in the band called State of Filth. We have a show coming up November 18th, which is a Monday.
Can we use some of your music for our intros?
I just want the Seinfeld intro. That's it.
Oh, I play bass. Yeah, I could do.
Yeah, just do the Seinfeld intro.
Yeah. I'll write you a bass riff. Yeah.
And Matt,
I gotta change it up so it's not like an exact copy too.
That's right. Actually, that'd be fun.
Something like Seinfeld, but for comics.
Superman fan. All right, we better get out of here. All right, thanks, folks.
Yeah, have a great weekend. Thanks everyone for watching, and keep on collecting. Bye.
You're not gonna make it work.
Oh wait, I have to do the. I wasn't ready at all for that. Keep saying funny things.
Boom! There, I'll do my.
Whoa!
Wait, I think fireworks. How about some balloons? I think it's one thumb. No. Or no, it's a piece of.
I don't think my computer does that. Nope.
All right. Well, that was pretty good. On that note, later, everybody.
All right.